I have a final update planned for Crappy Platformer. Small spoiler, but it will be an update with only one level in it. But if it works out the way I want it to, it might be quite the fun experience. Welcome to the final update for Crappy Platformer. The final level is what I like to call the Crappy Mountain. The first thing I did when making this update was the level itself, so I had to play around with the terrain tool in Unity, which I barely had any experience with. I did many iterations of what the level could look like. That is the fancy way of saying that I didn't know what I was doing and actually just started doing stuff with the terrain tool until I was satisfied with the result. So I did many different tests and ended up making the final mountain just a huge hexagon. I wanted a giant cube originally, but I just didn't end up doing it since it wasn't an option in the brush tool in the terrain tool itself. I then opened up Pro Builder and put all the platforms in the level, and then I took care of the actual texturing part of the level itself, once again with CCO textures like I used in the last video. However, this devlog is more of a way of saying, hey, if you want to actually see what's on top of the mountain and what's awaiting you there, go check it out, because, well, this time I'm actually not going to show the whole process of how I made it. Which also reminds me that I did a bit of actual updating when it comes to the animations and made a bit of a bigger animation tree, and it looked good, you know, don't get me wrong, it looked very good, but the problem is that it will end up just being too distracting for the player. So for example, every time you jumped and landed, your character will roll, and well, if you landed still, your character will do sort of this stand still landing animation. But the thing is, when it comes to a game where you have to do a lot of precision platforming like Crappy Platformer, that really just affects the gameplay. So I just left it with a very basic fall animation, and that's the only animation I added, because otherwise it will be 4 new animations. I also made this NPC, which is kind of let's just say he's a narrator and he talks about the level itself.
Hey Goofy, this is a message that will always loop in the level. Welcome to Crappy Mountain. In case you want to leave the levels, just go into this door that totally doesn't kill you or something, because the game developer didn't know how to program a pause menu.
I have kind of a special announcement for you guys actually. So in case you are a Mac user and you want to check out this garbage for some reason, I actually will upload a Mac version to itch.io. So in case you want to play the game, you can actually play the complete game, the full experience, on Mac. I also made a trailer for the actual game itself, so in case you guys want to watch it, I'm going to show it right now, but it's going to be uploaded separately on my channel, and well, it's going to be also on the itch.io page. And that is the end of Crappy Platformer. That is the end of the development, and that is the end of overall just working on this game. I had initially just planned for the first, version of the game to be the only one I made. In fact, I actually started working on a different project at the time, which was meant to be, I'll just say that it was meant to be a horror game, okay? But the thing is, I just don't have the capabilities when it comes to programming, okay? So basically, I really wanted to work on it, but I couldn't. And then a friend of mine suggested for me to update Crappy Platformer, and that's why I actually came back. So deep down there, if it weren't for that one friend, I would have never made like any updates for the game. And I know that's not really relevant, okay? Because these devlogs aren't really watched by a lot of people. There aren't really like a load of viewers watching them. But I'm still very happy that I actually updated the game. And I'm happy that it gained somewhat of attraction, because 6 people is, I don't know, like I know for a lot of developers it might be insignificant, but for me that's like huge. That's like a major win. But I am very grateful for like the people that actually play the game. I am very thankful for you guys, and I'm also very thankful to that one friend that actually suggested for me to update the game, because if it really weren't for you, you know who you are, by the way. If it weren't for you, I actually would have probably lost a lot of motivation when it comes to game development. So yeah, I think that like coming back to crappy platformer and actually expanding on it made me be like a little more motivated, and made me really think, well, game development doesn't really have to be hard. You just need the correct foundations. And well, I had it, okay? I had like Pro Builder, I had a movement script already made. So dumping the project just like that will be honestly a bit of a waste of time. So I'm happy that I actually came back to it and got the chance to end on a high note and actually develop one last level. And that's pretty much it. I'm thankful for every single one of you who actually, you know, supported me and said in the comments stuff such as like, keep going, good work. I'm very thankful for you guys, and hopefully I'll come back in the future. However, I do have to announce that I will be taking a 12-hour course by Code Monkeys when it comes to actual C#, and maybe I'll take some more of his courses when it comes to programming, because I want to try getting better at it, which means that, well, that might mean I might take some time off the channel. But in the meantime, I guess you can play crappy platformer. Check it out in itch.io. And once again, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.